Hi, I'm Dave Wright, and welcome to my channel. Today, I'm going to go through what's in my Moto kitchen. Everything you just saw is my base kitchen kit and cooking kit, really. I know it kind of packed up small. There was a lot of pieces to that, and it was kind of fun making that video. Anyway, let's get started. This is the pans you saw go in there, and it's actually pretty flat, so if you can see, it's not too big, and it's not that heavy either. It's inside here. Okay. Now this pan, I think this is a Sea to Summit pan. Yep, Sea to Summit pan, and I think it weighs like 10 ounces and has this folded over handle, so it's really light, and it's got this great non-stick surface. It was funny that one of the recent videos I did, I ran out of butter or ghee, and when I was planning on using that in the pan to make an omelet, and didn't have any, and it turned out to be just fine. This is just one of those. This is my cutting board, and all I did was, I think these were like $3 off of Amazon, a pack of 3, and I just put the pan over it and traced it. So it fits nicely in there, and it's a really nice. It's got sort of texture to one side and smooth on the other, which is great when you're making for different types of cooking, or if you're having to make things where you need to peel it back off or press it on. These bowls are nice as they flat. Now I was really pleasantly surprised with this bowl because what it does is it makes a really good seal. This lid actually seals on here, and so if you're trying to keep food warm, and you're making there's multiple steps in what you're doing for dinner, this really helps keep the food warm until you're ready to serve it, and of course it lays down flat like that. This is the bowl I'll bring just for to serve out of or to eat out of, and you can see it also lays down flat. And what's cool about this bowl, this is again one of those cheap things you get off Amazon, is it comes with this lid. Now this lid also seals on here, and it makes a pretty good tight seal if you want to keep things warm or just covered up. But this also makes for a good, not a cutting board, but things, I guess you could use it as a cutting board. But if I'm making tortillas or something, I'll actually use this edge in here is about the right size, so we're using it as a press. And I'm going to do a video later about how to do that. Let's put that back on there. And this was funny. This was a little tiny these rubber spatula that I found on an end cap at a grocery store. So it was just the things dangling on the end cap there, and I was like, see if that worked. It turned out to be really handy, and it used that quite a bit. Now, this isn't backpacking, so you can bring a little bit extra things, but you do have to worry about volume, as well as weight. But you do have a little bit more luxuries that you can get away with. For example, I don't have a spork. I actually have a spoon and a fork. Turns out that's actually pretty handy to have. These sticks are really good. I usually put a couple of these in there because I never know what I'm going to do with them. Sometimes I'll make little skewers or kebabs, or just use it for grilling vegetables. These are pretty nice. And I know I could probably whittle a stick or something, but these take up hardly any room at all. They're lightweight, little bamboo sticks. And this came with another kit that I had, and it turns out I wind up using these a lot, and they're just all airs tongs. And you'll see later when I'm cooking with some other equipment, where you can't, the lids are hot. So sometimes these are good just to pull the lid out or pull them off if you're not going to use it for food. This pan is pretty nice. It has, it's made by a company called Firebox, and it has a non-stick surface. And you can use it to serve off and eat as a plate, But what I wind up using it mostly for is to cover things if I'm simmering or need to get some down heat. Sometimes I'll put some even coals on top of here or embers on top just to get heat in down depending on what I'm cooking. So it makes for a really dual purpose item. Okay, let's see what's next. Okay, this is sort of, I guess it's sort of a grab bag of all the extra little bits that I would bring with me in my Moto kitchen. Let's open it up and take a look. Let's see, maybe open all it. And these bags are pretty sturdy. And I believe these bags, both the bag you saw with the pans and this one, also came from that company Firebox stove. And I'll put a link in that later if you'd like to follow them. So let's pull this stuff out of here first. Maybe we should just do that. Cheese grater. Well, don't always use that one. Okay. Let's put that bag away. All right, let's go through this. This is aluminum foil. It's always good to have a little piece of aluminum foil if you're cooking fish. I mean, if you happen to catch like a trout and you want to do something like that, or you need a windscreen for your stove. You can set that up. So it's always good to have. You never know what you can use that for. It's always good to have aluminum foil in there. I can't say this enough. Take care of yourself. Be healthy. It's always good to have hand sanitizer. It's hard to stay clean, but especially when you're prepping food and working with food, not only for yourself, but maybe other people that might be with you. It's always a good idea to carry some Purell. Wash your hands a lot and keep clean. This is, I guess I would take this if I was backpacking. I probably could get away with some other things, but what this is a coffee filter. This sits on top of the coffee, the mug. In fact, here's the mug here. It sort of sits like that, and you can put your coffee grinds in there and pour hot water and drip. This weighs, I don't even know what this weighs. Probably weighs like nothing. You probably have to tape it down to keep it from flying away. But it's nice to be able to, if you're going to make fresh coffee out there, is just have a simple filter like this, and you can just rinse it out. You don't have to use a paper filter. Sometimes I will. If I'm making for multiple people and I need to switch over quickly, I'll use a paper filter in here as well, but most of the time I just rinse this. Spatula. This is kind of nice. This one's made by GSI. GSI makes some nice stuff, but you have to watch. Some of the things that they make are pretty pricey. So shop around and figure out what's going to work for you and your budget and what you really need. They also make a lot of stuff you probably really don't need. And this might arguably be something you don't need, but since we're going to be doing a lot of cooking, it's just nice to have a small spatula. And what's nice is that it folds up like this. Again, doesn't take up very much room. You saw it fit in that bag pretty easily. Cheese grater. Well, I guess you could say you don't need this, and I probably don't. I'll bring it tools, separate tools. This is an example of when if I'm making a dish that I use a hard cheese with, and I need to grate it, or maybe a lemon peel or something. I'll bring a cheese grater like this. It doesn't take up a lot of room. It's super lightweight, very cheap, and like I said, I'll only use it when I have cheese, obviously, but it just usually stays in my kit. Salt and pepper is good. I've had this setup for quite a few years, and what I like about it is that it seals. So it has these spring hinges here, and it seals in a seal that keeps this fresh and keeps moisture out of it. And it's been tried and true for me. So and use salt and pepper quite often in almost any dish. And I'm going to show you how I carry some other spices. Okay, it's a lighter. Always good to have a lighter. Now, I know I probably should have like a fire steel. I think I actually do have one on my bike someplace, I think in my toolkit, but honestly, it's just a lot easier to use a lighter if you can, and usually you're not in a survival situation. I know, you could be, and you have to prepare for that, but most of the time you're not, and it's just so much easier to use a lighter than having a striker. And yes, of course it gets wet, maybe it won't work, but again, you'll have the backup as a fire steel. Just carry a lighter, it's easier. This is a multi-tool. It might be a little bit overkill. I usually have like a P38, but this has can opener, bottle opener. It's always kind of fun if you're hit the last village or town before you get up into the hills and see. It might be a treat to carry a bottle of wine for a little while and have that in the evening. Okay, this is just your standard multi-tool. It's got a can opener, bottle opener, and a couple other tools on here. It's handy to have for obviously opening cans and bottles, and even pliers. So sometimes you have to pull a pan out of some heat, or pull something out of heat. You can do that quickly with these pliers. It's just good to have something like that. And you might already have a multi-tool like in your toolkit on your bike. That's fine too. No need to carry two, but this is the one I use. Okay, so this is the knife I use just for cooking, and it's just a pocket knife. It's nothing fancy. It's a little bit oversized, but I like that because and it has sort of a relatively flat edge on this side, because it really works like a small cook's knife. And because I only use it for cooking, it's easy to keep clean and sharp. And this is it's good to have a knife, I think, dedicated. For me personally, I would rather have a dedicated knife just for cooking, just to keep it simple. All right, so some of these are not mints. These are not mints. I know they look like mints, but they're not. These are towelettes. So it's basically a dehydrated or compressed cotton towel that you just add a tiny bit of water to and it expands. And these are cheap, and they're great for having for cleaning up messy dishes. If I need to clean out the pan, if I'm cooking something that's kind of messy in the pans or the bowls, it's really easy to just rehydrate, and they're reusable. I've actually had one last for a couple days because I was rinsing out and using it to get the big chunks out of the pans, and then used another one for finishing up cleaning. But these are always good to have. Like I said, they're cheap and easy to use. And in fact, this one's open. Let's open this one up. I didn't even see that there. So I actually brought some water over here. I was going to open it, but fortunately that one's already open. So let's use that one up. You can buy these without the plastic. Without being in the plastic, I find that having them in the plastic is much nicer. Less chances of it accidentally getting moisture into it and getting wet. So let's put a little water in there. And like I said, it just takes a little bit of water, and you can watch it expand out there. All right. Pretty amazing, actually. And it's a kind of a woven cotton thing, and it's pretty strong. You can see I can stretch it even a little bit. It doesn't tear like a paper towel. So it's multiple. You can use this multiple times, and these are just great for cleaning up your Moto kitchen, cleaning utensils and pots and pans out. It's actually really great for that. Okay, so this another item made by GSI, and this is pretty simple. It's just a really lightweight pot. The handle folds over, and of course you don't want to waste any space. This is where I keep some other things in here as well. So there's the lid, and I think this is a liter, so it's good for boiling water in there. I don't usually cook in this too much. I usually use this for boiling water or making a soup or something like that. Most of the time I'll cook in the actual fry pan or skillet. So these are just little containers, and I think, let's pull all these out of here. There's a fair amount of stuff you can squeeze in here. Let's pull these out and put this aside. So I think these are made for baby food. I think that's where I found them. Yeah, Wee Sprout. The great little containers are 4 ounces each, so it's easy to measure out. This one we'll put a piece of tape and label it. This one happens to be that chicory coffee that I got in New Orleans. So that's there. Here's another example. I put some marshmallows in there, and they're reusable, and they're about the right size for just for just taking know what you need on the bike. I think these were originally designed as pill capsules, maybe, for traveling, but they work great when you have extra spices or things that you need to bring, particularly for, if you're making a dish like this. For example, if I need a dish with sesame seeds, I would just put what I needed in there. Here's, I think this is some chili flakes. Example of some chili flakes right inside there. And then these bottles are, also for like condiments. This is, you guys probably recognize that, Tapatio. I just put some in there, seal it off. They stay really sealed. I've never had one of these open up in the bag Here's one where I was doing a dish that we needed white wine vinegar, and I just put a label on there, but I use white wine vinegar in quite a few of the recipes, so I have these things, and just put what just bring what you need for the recipes that you're cooking, obviously. But again, they don't take up very much room. I think these might be 2 ounces, maybe 2 ounces. So just the right size. All right, boy, I do have a lot of stuff from GSI. They do make some really good stuff. This is my mug, and I think see. Again, you don't want to waste any storage space. This is just a bandana that I use to keep the stove from rattling around in there. So I'll talk about that in a second. And I'll show you how this, I know I showed you this earlier, but let me show you how this goes on here. It's pretty much just like that. And you might put your coffee grounds in there and pour the hot water over. And this is extremely lightweight. It almost, you can't even imagine how light. I wish I could explain how lightweight this is. It's pretty amazing. The materials they can use now. So that's a cup, and of course it's on the inside. It's got the markings for measuring. You can use it as a measuring cup as well, and it has the rubber seal to seal in. It really does keep coffee really hot, and it's got a rubber seal here, which is nice. I think it's actually a double seal. So this is pretty good. I've actually knocked this over before, full of coffee, and nothing leaked. Pretty good. This is just a bandana. This is what they call a spirit stove or alcohol stove. It's made by Trangia, and I really like these. They're pretty efficient. You put the fuel in there, just pour it in there, and it's just denatured alcohol. And it's got a ring here. And what's nice, if you notice, I pulled this out. It's got this big O-ring here, and it keeps it sealed. So if you're not wasting any fuel. If if you're done cooking, you still haven't used up your fuel, you just, rather than pouring it back, just leave it in there and seal it like this. This top bit is a simmer ring. So I don't know if you saw there was jets. When this heat comes up to temperature, it actually vaporizes the fuel on this side and creates these jets, and it gets really hot. So sometimes if you're just simmering, you can put this on and it cuts the jets off, and it makes more of a simmering thing. You can even get it down pretty low like that. It's adjustable. Pretty simple design, really cheap. I think this was like, I don't know, $8 or something like that. It's got, you can see it's been used quite a bit. Love those things. The fuel for that though is, so I found these bags. These bags are, it was interesting. I was looking for something I could safely carry alcohol in. Now this is denatured alcohol, which you can get at any hardware store. I've even seen it in sort of gas stations as well that are out in the middle of nowhere. Will carry denatured alcohol as well. So it's really easy to get. This bag, I don't know how many ounces this bag is, but this bag lasts me easily the last 3 days, 2 nights with one person cooking meals. And like I said, I found these bags. There's a package of bags that was made specifically for alcohol. And I thought, oh, that's exactly what I need. I found them. And then I'm going through, you know how they put the pictures, the product pictures in Amazon? And I'm clicking through the photos, and one of them was showing people using these to sneak alcohol into events like concerts and things like that, because it wouldn't set off the radar, the metal detector, and it conforms. I guess you can put that in your pocket and it doesn't look like a flask or something. But anyway, this has been really great. If I'm going for longer, for a week, and I know I'm not going to be able to get fuel, I'll take a liter of an actual fuel bottle. But this seems to work. What I carry most of the time is just this simple bag. Okay. I got a lot of questions about this. So again, I was saying I would never take this stove if I was backpacking. This is one of those luxury items I can take while I'm on a motorcycle. It does fold up very flat. You can see that. It's a little heavy, so like I said, I wouldn't use this backpacking. But let me show you how this works. So I think this one's made in Germany. There's a couple companies. That Firebox stove makes one, and they make smaller, lightweight ones. This one is the largest that I found, the largest one that they make. And the reason I got the large one is because I'm quite often cooking for more than myself, so for 2 people. Now, the way this normally works is you have the lid here, and this, I'll grill right on top of that. but you put sticks in here and that fuels the fire, and you can just keep adding twigs in here to keep the fire going. If you're cooking something that's going to need a long cooking time, this is great because you can just be sitting there and just, you know, feed sticks into it as you need it to keep the fire going the right temperature. But usually if I'm just using it to like boil water or do, you know, make a simple dish, I'll just use the spirit stove, and it comes with this plate that goes in here. Get that in there. And what that does is, oh, it goes this way. And then you just put the spirit stove in like that, and there you go. Get your lighter, light it up, and that works just great. And this is my most go-to. And again, like I said, if I run out of fuel, I can always use twigs. So you know, it's multiple fuels and stuff that you can just find on the ground. So this makes for a really, really great everyday carry for your moto kitchen on a motorcycle. And I mean, I can't say enough good things about this. This has been tried and true for me for a while. I think what I'm going to do is another episode, we'll talk about the different stoves and which ones are good for what. This one's sort of a generic, not generic, but good for everything. It's pretty much good for everything. Let's fold that, and it just folds back up like that. Put that in here. That's it. All right. Well, that's my Moto kitchen. That's my base kitchen utensils, cooking utensils, and stove that I take with me on every trip. I will bring other things, other utensils, depending on what I'm making, or if I'm cooking for more people, more than say 2 people, or I might bring different things. But this is pretty much what I bring every time, and as you saw, it packs up pretty small. So thanks for watching, and I'll be back with another video soon.